Well, we're in the office of Westford Academy Athletic Director Geoff Bunyon. Geoff, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Geoff, first of all, what's an athletic director?
In very basic terms, the athletic director is in charge of all athletics within the high school and the middle schools.
Okay.
So my job encompasses both Westford Academy and both Stony Brook and Blanchard, but I'm responsible for all aspects of all the athletic programs here.
Oh, okay. When you say here, not K through 12?
Well, just middle schools.
Middle
so 6
schools?
through 8 at the middle schools.
Okay.
Because we do have middle school teams.
Yeah.
And from 9 to 12 here at Westford Academy. In fact, we have a total of 73 teams between the middle schools and the high school. So there's a lot happening in athletics in Westford.
Okay. Geez, when I was in, and I'll make reference to my graduation time in 1966. It was soon after that we had our first athletic director, but my God, the challenges weren't quite as much as what you have because the athletic programs have expanded over the years. Geoff, as an athletic director in this town, you came to this town, you've been in Westford since 1992, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. When did you start at Westford Academy?
I started in Westford Academy in 2010
Okay.
in the PE wellness program as a teacher. I was in private industry for 20 years, sales manager, a lot of travel, flights, away from home a lot. Always wanted to do something more locally in my town, something that would involve physical fitness or sports, and was lucky enough. I spoke to Jim Antonelli, and I went through the steps to get my teacher's license. Was a teacher for 8 years.
Yeah.
And then when this opportunity came up, I thought it was a great opportunity to put both my business background and my love and knowledge of sports to use.
You're being rather modest. Didn't you play some professional hockey?
I did play 2 years of pro hockey in Sweden after college. Got out of school, wasn't sure what I wanted to do, did want to play the game, and was lucky enough to sign a contract for 2 years over there. And loved it, had an opportunity to see a new culture, lived there, really enjoyed it. But I thought it was time to maybe come home and try to get into business and put my degree to use in business.
You also was an NCAA Division I hockey official.
I still am presently. Yes, my conference is Hockey East, so I'm a Division I hockey referee. I've been officiating Hockey East since 1992, so since I moved to town. Yep. And yeah, I've had some success. It's a lot of fun. It keeps me involved in the game. My 3 boys play hockey. I really enjoy officiating. My dad refereed. He got me involved. Mm-hmm. And I've been lucky enough to referee Beanpot finals, Hockey East finals, actually NCAA Division I Frozen Fours. I've done 2 of those games as the head official.
I've seen you on the ice, Geoff.
Well,
you do a great job.
Were you one of the guys that was yelling at me?
Not me.
Well, the way I look at it, we're 50% right. You know, we either make a good call or a bad call depending on which team.
You can't win at that job.
You can't, but as long as you're trying to, I'm trying to be consistent and try to do the best job I can every time I step on the ice.
Okay, so you're athletic director, Westford Academy, dual county league. What are your goals, Geoff, as an athletic director? What are your goals for the coming year, first of all?
Well, my overall goals are to create a safe and inclusive environment where every student athlete is valued, respected, and participates in the sports and learns life lessons. There's so much more to winning and losing. That's not the goal. The goal is participation. The goal is how to communicate, how to lead, how to communicate with people, how to deal with conflicts, adversity, all those life lessons that take you throughout life. That athletics teaches you so much more than just the game on the field or on the rink or on the court.
I wrestled in high school, Geoff, but my group, it seems like when a group of us get together, we always kind of talk back to when we were in high school and exactly those lessons we learned from some of our coaches, not in the classroom, but the coach was tough, but it made us tougher as individuals when we got out into the working environment. Mm-hmm. So always made reference to Chet Steele, for example, who was my wrestling coach and the first athletic director here at Westford Academy in the late 60s. He was tough. He was tough. But so were guys like Ray Riddick, George Bossy with the program in Lowell. All of them, you talk to those, you hear the same types of stories.
Sure.
Winning then is not, it's important, but
it's really, if you could make the correlation, it's no different from the classroom.
Yeah.
You don't remember that 96 that you received on a test. You will remember that teacher that had an impact on your life. You don't remember every win and every loss, but you will remember that coach that had an impact on you and taught you something. I remember my coaches. What I talk about even today, I'll pick up different things from different coaches I had. So the results is just not as important as what we think at the time.
There's some 1,700 students here at Westford Academy. How many of those participate in this?
There's almost 1,000 that participate in athletics.
Wow.
So it's a high number. There's something for everyone. I mean, we have tons of, outside of just my athletics or our school athletics, we have several clubs that they can participate in. But getting back to athletics, just in our fall season, we have 9 varsity teams, whether it's football or field hockey or volleyball, crew, cross country, golf.
Tell me a little bit about crew.
Crew's great. It was just Westford Community Rowing, and change was made 2 years ago to bring it into the school. And Jim Antonelli did a great job taking hold of that prior to me arriving as the athletic director. And we've got a great coach. We've got a solid program. They practice over at Forge Pond. They do their off-water training.
Do they compete down there also?
Well, they don't compete there at Forge. They have regattas all over the place. In Cambridge on the Charles.
Wow.
They have regattas over in Lowell.
Okay.
On the river there. They go to Saratoga Springs for this Head of the Fish at the end of the season. It's kind of like their playoff, so to speak. It's a great lifelong sport. Gets you outside. It's great camaraderie. I'm learning more about it. I didn't know much about crew. Not every DCL school, only a few schools have it. But it's a terrific community, and I would urge people, if they're not sure what they want to do, it's a fun outdoor exercise that really offers a lot to the student athlete.
You want to talk a little bit about the fall program right now, Geoff?
Yeah.
Any special times that people should be aware of?
Yeah, well, like I said, we have several varsity teams, but we have about 24 teams this fall when you look at the varsity, the sub-varsity, and the middle school. Football actually starts this Friday, which is the 16th of August, and then the rest of the sports starting on the 22nd. And then shortly thereafter that, we'll have scrimmages here at Westford Academy. The actual seasons open up right around the first week of September, starting off with field hockey and soccer on the 4th and 5th. Our football team opens up on the 6th of September at Drake-It. One of my goals, you asked me about goals, was to try to have more boy and girl games, back-to-back games on our turf, so people can come, watch several games, and the community can come.
You mean, for example, like the women's soccer team, say at 5 o'clock, and then the men's soccer team at 7?
For instance, October 5th is a date that we're playing Chelmsford, where we have 4 games going. We have our JVs playing at 1 and 3 on the grass fields, and we also have our varsity teams, the girls and the boys, playing at 1 and 3 on the turf field. And that should be a really nice event for anyone that's involved with soccer and just wants to get a little taste of what Westford Academy soccer is all about.
A good time to be outside on October 5th. I mean,
Beautiful.
You're looking for, for something to do. And that's why, I've always, being a graduate of Westford Academy, support the sports, but it's also a great way to get out, talk to people, be outside, and enjoy your sport as well.
It's forced time to go outside and put the cell phone down.
Yeah.
To disconnect from electronics and just reconnect with nature and the environment and being outside and just watching.
So there should be a bin as you go in. Just throw those cell phones aside.
I don't know how well I do with that one, but that wouldn't be a bad idea. We also have, we have some football home scrimmages coming up early in the season. August 24th against Groton Dunstable, August 30th against Billerica here on Trustees Field. So we've got football there. We've also got the following Sunday, we've got some field hockey outside. Our one indoor sport for the fall is our girls volleyball program, heading up by Brandon Eng. He's done a terrific job. We have teams at all levels, the varsity, JV, and freshmen. That's very exciting. If someone hasn't been to a volleyball match before,
You know something, Jeff?
it gets intense, and
right.
I think it's a sport that we need to promote more because football gets a lot of promotion, and soccer. Volleyball is absolutely terrific. The excitement that's generated in the gymnasium is fantastic.
I've been to a few, and you're absolutely right. It is something that really is an exciting sport. Now, if somebody's trying to plug into, you can go to website.
Sure.
And it gives you the schedule.
Right on our Westford Academy school website. If you just click on athletics and schedules, it has a full lineup of all of our athletic events, and you can check those out. And everyone is welcome to come and just support our town and our sports and our student athletes. And I can't stress enough, it's really not all about the varsity programs. We have so many sub-varsity players, JV, freshmen, people just learning, and even for their first time going out and trying a new sport. There's so much to offer. Cross country, there's so much out there. Our cheer program, we've increased that. We have about 25 cheerleaders this year for our game day, so we've increased that squad as well, and they'll both do game day cheering and they'll do competitions. We've built a great cheerleading program, and through just hard work, and now it's continuing.
Well, you said winning isn't the most important, but we've had some Westford Academy, and Westford has been very successful cheerleading.
Our cheerleaders they've repeatedly won the DCL championship 5 years in a row.
Nationals?
They've gone to nationals. The competitions are extremely intense. I went to all of them last year. My wife and I would go to a lot of away activities. We went from the DCLs here at Acton Boxborough, they hosted, to the districts or the regionals in Haverhill. It's really intense, and tremendous athletes with unbelievable skill.
So you do go home then on occasion?
I do, but I will say I'm at a point in my life where my boys, I have 3 boys and my wife Linda. My boys are older. My youngest is actually a senior this year at Westford Academy. So I have the time. Quite honestly, I have the time, and that's why at this time in my life, this job was perfect for me. I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity. I love my job. I have tremendous support for my job and the hours that I have to keep at home and here in the school. And I do need to make sure that I stress that. The athletic director, you asked about what my role is. I'm in charge of all the athletics, but I lean on a lot of people here at the school in the leadership we have, from our superintendent, Mr. Olson, to Kerry Clary, assistant superintendent, and locally here, Mr. Antonelli, our deans, Betsy Murphy, Bob Ware, Dan Toomey, the former athletic director. I lean on him daily. I have questions for him, and they're always there to support me.
And they're always, whenever you go to a function here, you see 1 or 2 of them around all the time.
And I will say,
sure, Jeff,
that's part of the culture that's been created here at the Academy. And I will say there's participation across the DCL, but I've never seen it like this school, where if we have an event, we have a meeting every Tuesday and we go over events that are coming up, and constantly the deans and Mr. Antonelli step up, and we'll be there. We want to be there. I'll tell them I'm all set. No, we want to be there just to interact with the students, to see the kids on the field, the students on the field. Terrific culture here. It makes my job easy. As challenging as it can be, it really does make it easy.
We're looking at, this is 2019. Let me give you a little history, Jeff, something I just found out. If you went back to the 1920s, do you realize Westford Academy played Salem Normal School college back then? Don't ask me in what sport, because we just uncovered this through one of the old yearbooks. But I couldn't believe that, they were competing. that. But like I said, there was a basketball program, baseball program. Football wasn't here till 1944. Now you have all of this. Did you say 78 different programs?
Actually, 73.
73, okay. Talking about the middle schools and whatnot. So where does the program go? Is there a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan? Do you look down the road and say, this is where we'd like to be? We'd like to expand, we'd like to cut back, or?
Well, we're always looking to evaluate where we are.
Yep.
And where can we get better? Whether it's our facilities, whether it's our teams, whether it's the sports we're involved with, the athletic programs. There's more programs. I mean, 10 years ago, crew wasn't a program here, and we've expanded to crew. I'm looking at different programs because my main goal is to involve everyone. And if there's programs out there, if there's athletics out there, we're looking into unified sports, which for special needs. We're going to maybe team up with Littleton. That's still in the early stages to put together a unified team, which I'm fully behind.
That sounds that's interesting.
Yeah, and there's a lot of towns that already have them in place.
I see.
But that's something that I need to and I want to look into because, again, I want everyone to have an opportunity to participate in athletics if they want to. It's a great outlet, and it's just...
I guess that would lead me to my next question, Geoff, is not every kid can afford to participate. I mean, Westford's a fairly well-to-do town, and most people have a problem. But there are those out there that just, $275 is a fee to go into a sport. That may be unreachable. What happens to that kid?
Yeah, I mean, well, $275 is the minimum user fee for our athletics programs. But depending on the program, if there's an off-site program, it could be more. Like there's a premium put on, like golf is a little bit more, ice hockey is more, crew is more, downhill and alpine ski is more because we utilize the mountain. So, but getting back to your question, we want everyone to participate. And sometimes people go through tough times, whether it's Westford or wherever it is. If there's someone that's having trouble financially, we absolutely will talk to them and make it work to provide some type of scholarship situation for everyone to participate, because that's our goal. We want kids to participate, and the last thing I want is for someone not to participate or feel uncomfortable because they can't, because they're worrying paycheck to paycheck at home.
Well, I can understand where a family might say, geez, I'd like to, but they may feel a little embarrassed to come forward. You know what I'm saying, Geoff?
It's something that in my fall preseason meeting in front of all kids that are trying out for teams, I bring that up, and I want to let them know. They can email me directly if there's any financial hardship that's happening. I review it with Mr. Antonelli and our guidance group, and we proceed accordingly. But our goal is to have kids participate. We do not want anybody not to be able to do that for that reason.
Geoff, how active is the Boosters program here in Westford? I go back to the early 1960s, once again, when I was in high school. My dad was one of the first of the original Boosters. In fact, he was the driving force behind the first scholarship that was given out by the Boosters in 1967. It was a $100 scholarship
Well,
to go to college.
Times have changed, but the Boosters are very active. Under the leadership of Kathy and Rich Harris. Right, the day I got the job, I actually spoke to them because they do like canning drives, and they try to do fundraising efforts for the Boosters so they can collect money. They run they do so much for us. If there's field equipment that's not in our budget, a request can be put in for them to purchase field equipment. They helped out with the timing device for our swim team. They've video camera to video the games. They put on a Senior Boosters Award Night every year at the conclusion of the school year for all seniors that have participated in athletics, where they all get an award and a plaque for participating. We have a great relationship. We work hard to work with them and fundraise, with them if we're looking for something, and just a good relationship. They do a couple other fundraising. They did a trivia night at the at the Regency in the winter, and that's a big fundraiser. And I went to that, and the amount of people from the community that went to that, and all those funds raised are directly given back to the different athletic programs.
That's terrific. What's the most difficult part of your job?
I would say the biggest challenge is because of the amount of teams that we have, is stuff that's outside my control, such as the weather.
Okay.
Especially in the fall and the spring sports, where we're so dictated on the weather and being outside. There's just so much that goes into the scheduling, because people think, oh, you just make up the game or make a decision on the game. There could be weather coming in. We have both teams to consider. But it's not just two teams, it's our sub-varsity and our freshmen. So now we're talking about 6 teams, and that's just in one sport. I could have soccer, field hockey, cross country, golf. I could have several things going on in one day. Do I have buses to when I reschedule? Are the officials available for the rescheduling?
Oh, yeah.
Is the turf available? Is my opponent's field available? So there's a lot of challenges that go along with scheduling and rescheduling. But I will say my DCL partners, my athletic directors across the 11 member schools, are great to work with.
Yeah.
And we all understand, and we all have the same goal, is to create that safe environment for our student athletes, and we all work with each other.
DCL, of course, has changed the dynamics. It was Wachusett League until 1992, I believe, Geoff, and then went to the DCL. And competition's a little more difficult.
Yes,
sure.
it is.
But at the same time, you say that those particular schools are more at the level of Westford Academy, wouldn't you say?
Well, it's very level playing field.
Yeah.
I would say some sports are stronger than others.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about Acton Boxborough and Concord Carlisle, Lincoln Sudbury and Wayland, Weston, Waltham, Boston Latin, Cambridge, as I said, there's some teams are a little stronger in certain sports, but across the board, we're in a very challenging league. Bedford, I didn't mention them, but it's a very challenging league, and regardless of what the sport is, you're in for a good competition, and that's what I look at. Again, wins and losses. What was the competition like? What's the lesson we're going to learn out of this? Some teams are stronger in soccer, but might be not as strong in baseball or softball or hockey or basketball, or golf. There's just so many sports that it's tough for everyone to be competitive in everything. But there's a lot of respect amongst the different athletic directors. We understand when there's good matchups. If there's a bad matchup, we'll make an adjustment, because no one wants to get embarrassed out on the field, and we want good solid, competition.
So we're not out to embarrass Acton Boxborough on Thanksgiving.
Well, maybe just that one day. No, I'm kidding. Embarrassed would never be the word. We'd always want to win that Thanksgiving Day game. But I will say, and I don't want to keep going back to it, but it's true. The life lessons in the memories. My son, who played football here, graduated in 2015, and they won on Acton Boxborough's field, and he'll never forget it.
Oh,
and it was
we'll never forget
cold,
it.
and my family was there, and it was just fantastic. So everyone will have those memories.
And what a great rivalry it's become.
It's great.
Not just, you go to the basketball games and the baseball games beyond it, because the other ones. But AB is always something a little extra, and
it is.
They're a great community as well. Those are a great community.
It is,
Yeah.
and the level of respect for the student athletes is tremendous. It's we want to beat them for the competition, for the pride in our school. And at the end of the game, there's the handshakes, and they move on to the next game, and that's a tribute to my coaches and the coaches of all the coaches in the DCL.
Yeah.
Something we didn't bring up was that we didn't really talk about winter sports, but it's something I definitely want to mention.
And spring sports,
Yeah,
yes.
and spring, winter first. We're trying something new in the DCL with regard to DCL large schools for basketball. I talked about back-to-back games, doubleheaders.
Oh,
in the
yep.
past, let's just say on a Friday night, our girls would be playing at home and our boys would be playing away. This year, what we're going to do is both our girls and boys are going to be playing on the same night in the same location, at the same venue. So like boys at 5:30, girls at 7.
Good.
And then halfway through the season, we're going to flip it, and the girls will be at 5:30 and the boys will be at 7.
Yep.
So those are just Friday night against DCL larger schools like the Acton Boxborough, Lincoln Sudbury, Cambridge, the larger schools. So that's going to be a good opportunity for people in the community to come out and see 2 games and see both our girls and boys in action in the same venue.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
How about the spring sports? Quick.
Again, spring, we'll have a full slate of spring sports again. Weather dictates. It seems like it's getting later and later in the year.
Yeah.
The fields are wet. I will say our facilities people, our grounds crew, Eric Bruce, Richie Crocker, unbelievable as far as getting our fields ready and keeping them in great playable condition, whether it's our softball fields or our baseball fields, lacrosse, field hockey, lacrosse is out on the turf field, but the actual weather can take its toll on the grass fields, and those guys do a great job getting those in playable condition across the board. But we also have crew in the spring as well. We have track and field. We just upgraded our track last year. We had a few track and field meets at our track, and what a fun time that is.
Yeah,
The
that
excitement.
was challenging, I know.
Oh, but it was, but I wasn't here, so I didn't
Yeah.
have those challenges. But this past year, having 2 and 3 teams, us being able to have the meet at our school was awesome, and the weather was great. People are outside, whether it's the javelin, the shot put, all the different track events, the high jump, the long jump. Just fantastic to come and watch, and just, again, we talked about it earlier, being outside.
Yeah.
Just enjoying the outside and putting the cell phones away.
Put the cell phones away. Listen, Geoff, I want to thank you and wish you luck in the up and coming year. And I just want to say that I've gotten to know you on a personal basis. You're very approachable, and if there's anyone in the community that has something, pick up the phone, or if they see you, preferably they see you at an event at Westford, don't be afraid to come up and introduce yourself.
I would always ask anyone in the community, please, if you have any opinions, I'll take anything. I want the program to be safe, and I want it to get better, and I want people to have fun and enjoy themselves.
Okay.
You know, this is a great time in a student athlete's life, and it's a great time in a parent's life to be able to watch their kids. So come on out, enjoy it. I have an open door policy. Anything I can do to make the programs better, I'm all for it. So I appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you,
Geoff,
Geoff.
very much. And come on out and take in a game and enjoy yourself, and go Grey Ghosts.
Go Grey Ghosts.
It's good times here at Westford Academy. Thank you.